Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat 3 Career Mode. Fresh off the start of our fourth season in the Cup Series, Jimmie Johnson won the Daytona 500 last episode after going winless all of last season, so he's locked into the playoffs. As we had a first rough two stages in that race, but we rallied back to a top 5 finish, so hopefully maybe we can get another solid finish here in Atlanta today. But obviously first we had the Xfinity race. We had Greg Biffle back in the car. He didn't do very good for us in Daytona, and it was kind of the same story in Atlanta. We have a fast car, but Biffle made a mistake in qualifying, and that set him back all the way down to the 38th position. And he would struggle a little bit to move his way forwards in this race. Obviously, he had the speed in the car to get forward, so he would still be able to move his way up through the field a little bit there, as you see him moving up into the 37th, 36th, now 35th position. And by the time he came to about the midway point of this race, he had moved up into the 28th position there. As you see, quite a bit of separation with the field. So Biffle struggled, like I said, to work his way forwards, and by the time he came towards the final few laps, he hadn't really gotten much further ahead. He came to the last lap in 27th behind Joey Gase as he sent it down into turn 3, and he actually got into the back of Joey Gase, moving him up the track as Gase got sideways as he makes a big save as he comes through turns 4. Greg Biffle would come through to finish in the 26th position, and I will be changing the numbers on the car to white coming into the next episode, because red on the roof just doesn't really work. It was suggested by one of my subscribers, Michael, to make it white, so we'll definitely be doing that because I think it would look a lot better. But now it's time to focus on the Cup Series race going to Atlanta, obviously, a track that we've run half decent at in the past. I know we have speed here. Obviously, with this new team at JGR, we should be able to have a strong run. Obviously, a 5-star team, and we already have some Cup offers for next season, and immediately I decided to contact Team Penske, as that's kind of my main team I'm thinking of going to next season. And as we came to qualifying in the Atlanta event, we came through turn 3 and 4. You notice I now have just quick qualifying because NASCAR changed the rules in real life to single car qualifying, so we're doing that now too. And as we came across the line, we hit a 29.437, and we will start 16th in Atlanta, so hopefully we will move forward here in the race.
Welcome to Atlanta Motor Speedway for the running of the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500. This 1.5-mile oval is popular with both fans and drivers alike. It's popular because 21 years of wear has widened the racing groove from the apron to the wall. There's very little grip, which produces side-by-side action and close finishes. Now, the track surface was all set to get resurfaced after the 2017 race, but an outpouring of opposition forced them to push that date back. Will we get another close finish today? Let's head on down to the track and find out right here on PRN.
All right, we are ready to go green here in Atlanta. Our teammates up on the front row, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, and Truex all in the top 4 there. And then there's us down in like 16th, so not the best qualifying effort for myself. We usually struggle to qualify at this track, so I wasn't surprised as we get ready to go green and start this race here, the cookie cutter of Atlanta, and the green flag is out, and we are underway now here in Atlanta Motor Speedway, and we have yet to get a win at this racetrack, and hopefully today could possibly be the day now as we head down towards turns 1. Kyle Busch leads the way as we battle alongside the 40 of McMurray and now the 48 of Jimmie Johnson, who won last episode in the Daytona 500, his 3rd Daytona 500 victory now as we come out of turn 2 side by side still with the 7-time champion as we come down the back straightaway, as we still look to get our first championship after coming up just a few car lengths short at the end of last season to winning a championship, and hopefully we can change it up this time this season and bring home our first championship now as we come through out of turn 4 to come through the tri-oval and complete the first lap behind the 3 of Austin Dillon as we head down towards turns 1, still side by side with the 7-time champion of Jimmie Johnson as we come through the center of the corner. Kyle Busch leads over now 2nd place of Brad Keselowski up ahead as we come down the back straightaway. McMurray and Logano side by side as we head down towards turns 3. And as we go into turn 3, we're going to make it 3 wide on the outside with the 22 of Joey Logano and try to look to the outside of our former teammate of Quinn Boyer now as we come into turn 4, but unable to quite get to his right rear as we come through the tri-oval to complete the 2nd lap of this event, moving up into the 13th position, gaining 3 spots in the first 2 laps. As we look to the inside of Quinn Boyer, we would get past him and move up towards the 10th position by lap 13 of 20 in the stage. You see Kyle Busch, the post hitter, had fallen all the way back to the 9th position as we were getting ready to make a pass on him as we're going to look up the inside as we go down towards turns 3. And we go side by side into the corner now as we edge out the 18 of Busch and clear him as we move up into the 8th position now as we pass Kevin Harvick as well in the process as we close in on the back of Ryan Blaney in the number 12 as we would look to his inside as we would try to get the position from him as well, and we would be able to pass Ryan Blaney eventually, and Kevin Harvick would actually be able to get past Blaney as well, and Harvick would end up getting past me as we came towards the final few laps of this stage. So as we were coming to the white flag in stage 1, we'd be sitting in 8th position, just a few car lengths behind Kevin Harvick as we hit the white flag now in stage 1. I believe Kurt Busch might be leading this race at the moment. He won 2 stages last episode in the Daytona 500, picking up 2 playoff points, obviously, early on in the season. Now as we come into turn 2, down the back straightaway for the final time here in stage 1. Now as we head down towards turn 3, Austin Dillon lurking behind as we come through into turn 3 and turn 4 for the final time in stage 1. Not going to be able to get to the back of Kevin Harvick or look to his inside or anything as we come through the trial. Well, we will finish in 8th for stage 1, which is nothing to be too disappointed about. So a good start for us in this race. Hopefully we can keep pushing forwards, and the stage winner ended up being, I believe, Kurt Busch. Yes, it was Kurt Busch. So he gets another playoff point. He now has 3 playoff points to start the season as we would come to pit road, take 2 cans of fuel and 4 tires, and come out exactly where we came in as we get ready to restart this second stage now in P8. And we're ready to go green alongside the Ford Harvick, and Kurt Busch leads the way as we're green once again here to start the second stage in Atlanta. Kurt Busch eliminated from the playoffs last season in the round of 12 after getting in an incident in Talladega, causing a big crash that ended up costing him a chance in the playoffs. So it was unfortunate for him, and he wants to change that this season now as we come through turns 1 and turns 2, down the back straightaway, trying to use the draft from the 9 of Chase Elliott. He had a strong season as well last season. I believe he had 2 wins. He could have easily had 4 or 5, but we ended up stealing a couple of them from him now as we have Paul Menard on my inside as we come into turn 4, down through the trial to complete this first lap since the restart now, as Austin Dillon's also having a great run in this race as he's in the top 10, so a solid start for him as last season he missed the playoffs as Menard pushes up the track there and has to back out of the throttle, and that gets me clear as we sit in 9th now as we're going to make it 3 wide with the 3 and the 9 of Austin Dillon and Chase Elliott as we go down into turns 3 and turns 4, but they would be able to stay clear for a moment, and we get onto the apron and we make a big save and we come on back on the track, thankfully without hitting any other cars. We got a very lucky break right there, but certainly a big setback for myself as we would have to rally back from that mistake. We got really lucky to not crash right there, and thankfully everyone was able to avoid me without any incidents as we came through turns 1 and 2. Now back to the 15th position at this point, but we would be able to move our way back forwards with really no much problem at all as we would move up to P11 by the time we came to lap 12 of 18 in the stage on the bumpers of Menard and Hamlin, who battle side by side. Obviously Hamlin, one of our teammates now, as he is my favorite driver at JGR. Obviously now as we come through the trial side by side with Menard and Hamlin, making it 3 wide as we go down into turns 1. We push up the track just a little bit now as Eric Almirola tries to look to my inside, another former teammate now as we exit turn 2 side by side with the 21 of Paul Menard. As we come down the back straightaway, we have once again gotten ourselves back inside of the top 10 as we go down into turn 3, clearing Menard now for the position. And as we were approaching the final lap in the second stage, still in that 9th position, just in front of Eric Almirola, we just couldn't run down the cars up ahead as we go down into turns 1 and turns 2, trying to close in on the back of the 9 of Chase Elliott. Obviously, he's too far ahead now for me to catch him before the end of the stage, so we're really just trying to hold off the 10 of Almirola to get an extra stage point here as we go down into turns 3 and turns 4 for the final time in stage 2. Brad Keselowski leads the way now as they come out of turn 4 as he tries to get a playoff point here with a stage victory now as we come through the trial, but we're going to hold on to get P9 in stage 2 to get 2 points there. So a decent stage 2 after making a big mistake, and now we have a chance hopefully to work our way towards the front here in this final stage after Keselowski. Austin Dillon managed to drive all the way up to the 2nd position there before the stage ended, so great for him. We would come to pit road, take 2 cans of fuel again, 4 tires. Thankfully the AI did the same thing, so we would come out P9 as we get ready to start this 3rd and final stage.
Coming to the green, driver.
And we're ready to go green to start the final stage, and the green flag is out. Brad Keselowski leads away now as he won the second stage, and he wants to get his first win of the season here in Atlanta. He has gotten a win here before now in real life as we head down towards turns 1 and turns 2 for the first time in the stage, side by side with the 9 of Chase Elliott. Now as we look to the left rear of the 22 of Joey Logano as he gets clear of me, though, as we go down the back straightaway. Obviously, he's still battling on the outside of the 1 car of Kurt Busch as we head down into turns 3 and turns 4. Kyle Larson up there towards the top 5 now as he looks to the inside of Austin Dillon as he will move into the 3rd position as our other teammate Martin Truex Jr. he's up there in the 2nd position. Obviously, him being a rival with me, we're trying to be really careful with him at the beginning of the season because we need to get him away from being a rival. So you're going to see me racing him extra clean, and that's going to mean sometimes letting him pass me without fighting him because we do not need Martin Truex Jr. to be a rival. We don't need anyone to be a rival now as we go down into turn 3. Looking to the inside of the 3 of Austin Dillon, who hasn't had the best restart here after restarting P2. We're going to try and get past him and move ourselves into the top 5. Certainly the inside line prevailing big time here on this restart with 35 laps to go now in the race as we head down towards turns 1 and turns 2. Kurt Busch on the inside of our teammate Truex as we would get into this little bit of a battle here, but we would move up the track. Logano would just about get to my inside, but thankfully we would stay clear as we went down the back straightaway. And I figured I would take a chance going into turn 3 to maybe stick it up the inside of the 19 of Truex, but as soon as I saw Kurt Busch get clear, I backed out of the throttle because I know Truex wants to come down on me, so we're not allowing that to happen. And by the time we came to lap 50, still stuck behind Truex now as we go down into turn 3, trying to look to his inside, but we get hit in the left rear by Hamlin, and we go into the left rear of the 19 and into the wall we go, and that would put up a good amount of damage to the right side of the car as I was just really being careful behind the 19 of Truex, and I tried to go to the bottom of the track, and the 11 stuck his nose in there, so JGR, 3 JGR cars getting involved there as we were doing everything we could to stay off of the 19, and in the process we drove into the 19 after getting hit by Denny Hamlin, and we would get stuck now behind Daniel Suarez for a handful of laps by the time we came to lap 60. A bunch of damage on the right side of the car was certainly slowing me down, so a big mistake on my part. Maybe it was Denny Hamlin's fault. Maybe you guys be the decider on that one, but we would be able to get past Daniel Suarez and move into the 13th position eventually, so we were able to set our sights on the car's head. But the car had so much damage on the right side. Well, it didn't have a lot, but it had enough to really impact the speed and the pace of this car. As you see me on lap 71 now, already approaching 10 to go. We had gone absolutely nowhere, still in the 13th position after we had passed Daniel Suarez. Now with Ryan Blaney behind me, and we were starting to get close to green flag pit stops. And last time I had made a green flag pit stop was at Texas of last season, and it almost costed me a playoff spot in the Final Four. But it was looking like we were going to have to make this green flag pit stop here within the next couple of laps. So certainly I was getting prepared for it, and we would make one more lap around as we came to lap 73. We would prepare to come to pit road. All of the AI would start to get down to the bottom. They would come to pit road or like get down to the apron into turn 3. So I did the same thing, not to gain all of these positions unfairly as we get sideways there as Blaney would go past, and then we would come through up on the right side of the 10, and we would end up getting a caution here in Atlanta. So this would force a yellow flag pit stop instead, so we wouldn't have to make a green flag pit stop. Obviously, we would come to pit road and we would take just about half a can or 1 can of fuel, right side tires, and we would not repair the car because I was trying to hope that we could maybe gain some positions. But unfortunately, taking the right side tires, we would actually lose 3 positions and drop back to the 16th position. So maybe I should have repaired the car as we get a handful of laps to go here in Atlanta as the green flag is back out, and we are underway here for a short dash to the end of this race. It's going to be very hard for us to get a top 10 with this damage. I maybe should have repaired it under the caution, but we would slide down in front of the 18 of Kyle Busch and immediately get down to this bottom line as Keselowski at the moment is in command as we come through turns 1 and turns 2 on the inside of the 41 of Daniel Suarez. Obviously, we just got out of that car at the end of last season. It was really fun driving that car. Now as we go down into turns 3 on the inside of Suarez as he is finally back in the Cup Series as we move into the 15th position on the inside of William Byron as we try to look to the inside of the 14 briefly, but unable to make that work as we come through the tri-oval. And I noticed the lack of speed in this car right away still with the damage on the right side, and I knew we were probably not going to be able to get a top 10 out of this as we just can't quite keep up with these guys up ahead now as we come through down the back straightaway side by side with William Byron. And by the time we came to lap 82 to go at this point, approaching the white flag on the inside of our teammate Almirola, now just finally moving up into the 12th position. You see how long it's taken me to get anywhere at this point as we come out of turn 4, approaching the final lap in Atlanta, closing in on the back of the 3 of Austin Dillon, and and the 42 of Kyle Larson as we head down towards turns 1 and 2 for the final time. Denny Hamlin up ahead, looks to the inside of Brad Keselowski, our teammate. We had a run-in with Hamlin earlier. He tries to take the victory here in Atlanta now as we come down the back straightaway side by side up ahead between Dillon and Larson now as we head down into turns 3 and 4 for the final time in Atlanta. We're going to look to the inside and make a 3 wide as we try to steal a top 10 finish out of this race now as Denny Hamlin is going to come through the trial and win in Atlanta and put him in the playoffs, and we will come through to get edged out by Kyle Larson to finish in the 12th position after a mistake early in stage 3, or maybe it was Danny that got into me, I don't know, but we hit the wall due to an incident with our teammate of Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr., and it was unfortunately too much damage to be able to contend with the guys up towards the top 10. So unfortunately, we don't get a top 10 today in Atlanta. We've had a bit of a rough start to the season. Obviously, the first 2 stages in Daytona were terrible, and then the last stage in Atlanta did not go well, but hopefully we can set our sights now on Las Vegas and improve going into that race, as Alex Bowman's the only one that's sending us a message when he wants to be just like me when he grows up, even though he is like 10 years older than me almost, I think, now. As in the next episode, though, we will be going to Las Vegas, so if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be incredibly appreciated. Denny Hamlin and Jimmy Johnson both locked into the playoffs now after Johnson wins the 500. Hamlin wins today in Atlanta after stealing the victory. I think he only led 1 lap, maybe 2 there at the end. Truex leads the overall standings, but there you see the playoff grid. So I will see you guys in the next video in Las Vegas. Thank you for watching, everyone, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.